I'll start this one with some comments, a call out. Let's say I wish I didn't have to do this, but I feel like it's necessary. I've made a lot of videos on the topic of feminism.
Are straight men okay? Straight men in chat, are you okay?
And
Is
I've
anyone
noticed
okay?
something
I don't
quite
know.
interesting. When I critique certain branches of feminism, like liberal feminism, girl boss feminism, white feminism, I tend to get a lot of views from men. My last video titled The White Feminism of Western Media wasn't initially titled like this. I felt like white feminism was a bit clickbaity and not fully
Thank you for the sub. Thank you very much.
coherent with the topic of the video. But eventually I changed the title, and as soon as I did, the views started to go up, and the data shows that it's mostly been watched by men more than my other videos. This is not the first time I noticed this. Every time I make a critique of certain branches of feminism, I get more male viewers, I get a lot of new male subscribers, I get more interviews by men, and I'm invited by more male-run podcasts. At first I was excited, like great, I get to talk to people who aren't necessarily exposed to those feminist ideas, but over time it started to really bother me because I felt like my criticism of certain branches of feminism was interpreted by some men, not all men, as a way to be misogynistic in an acceptable way, in an intellectual way. For example, I've received emails and DMs from men who completely misread my intentions in those critical videos or cherry-pick the information that suits their narrative. Some even used my critics to justify bad behavior, dismissing accusations of SV as white feminism or liberal feminism. So I went back to my videos in search of the things that I said that led these people to think this way, and I just couldn't find anything. In fact, I always concluded my videos by directing people to the forms of feminism which I think are beneficial for society. Anti-carceral feminism, anti-imperialist feminism, socialist feminism. Now this whole thing won't stop me from criticizing liberal feminism, girl boss feminism, but now I'm much more careful with the words that I use, how I write my scripts. Now, on the other hand, a few months ago, I released a video titled The Problem with Hollywood Baby Girls, where I argued that while sexism is systemic, a structural issue, these structures aren't separate from individuals. We're not just puppets of those systems, we still have a little bit of agency, so individual behavior matters. I was honestly a bit nervous to release that video. I was worried about how men were going to react to it, and my nervousness was actually quite valid. I got a lot of messages from men telling me that it was pointless to focus on individuals, that doing so pushes men to the right, to the far right, and that basically I was just radicalizing young men. Reading those comments was deeply upsetting. First, they implied that I shouldn't call out men who act in sexist ways, and second, they treated men as if they were too fragile to handle criticism. The infantilization felt so absurd. It's not just disrespectful for me, it's disrespectful for men in general. The men I know, of all ages and political leanings, can handle criticism. These comments revealed the commenters' inability to handle that sort of criticism more than anything. Instead of leaning into the discomfort and
Yeah, it's the misinterpretation that struggle leads people to reactionary ideologies. Struggle doesn't lead you to anything. It is when somebody comes to you and explains to you why you are struggling with a particular issue that can either lead you to a scientific, socially cohesive analysis or a reactionary excuse. So calling people out causes them to struggle, but if that struggle is followed up with proper education, you create comrades, not reactionary idiots.
Maybe use it as an opportunity to grow, to change, they decided to turn it back on me, accusing me of radicalizing young men, which is a bold claim if you know a little bit what I do, both online and in real life. I wish these things did not affect me, but they do, so that's why I wanted to make those comments before starting the video, which is a video about men, about masculinity. So in today's video, I want to look at two trends that I've noticed recently. On the one hand, you have the male performative feminist. He may or may not have a mullet, a mustache. He may or may not have read All About Love by Bell Hooks or Joan Didion. He may or may not sip matcha on the regular. And on the other hand, we have the
I have never tried matcha in my life, блядь. Matcha, what the fuck?
Masculine feminist, a guy who looks very masculine but is praised for his progressivism, including his defense of women's rights. My examples for this second category are Hassan Piker and Travis Kelce. And the reason why I'm choosing them is because they've recently been featured in magazines.
What is a Travis Kelce? I do not understand. What is this person?
in articles and portrayed as positive masculine role models. Now, I want to be clear, I don't know any of the individuals I'm going to talk about personally. It's not about them as individuals, it's about their public image, the way they are perceived in the media and the impact it has on culture, society, etc. In other words, I want to look at what's been happening.
Taylor Swift fiance? What the hell? He plays sports ball and is married to famous white woman. Okay. I am not American enough for this, brother.
In the media since the rise of the manosphere, the desperation to find positive male role models, and the limits of that project. I'm Alice, welcome back to my channel.
What is up, Alice? Good to see you.
So I'll make a separate video on how the manosphere has evolved into a new version of itself after the Andrew Tate fall and stuff. But in this one, I want to focus on the response from the progressive side of the political spectrum. Since the rise of the manosphere, the sneakers, the Andrew Tates, the Myron...
You didn't hear? Even I heard about it. What, of engagement between the two? Yeah, I saw it for 2 seconds on Instagram and I was like, I have better things to do right now. Like, I don't know, have beer or take a shit. All much more important than read about marriage between whatever. Big man with big ball and lady that sings about breakup that no longer makes breakup.
Gains, there was a general consensus that these guys weren't great, and after enough raising awareness, those people actually lost some of their popularity. That doesn't mean they didn't have an impact on society. I mean, the amount of
that just means that right-wingers look for the new thing very quickly, okay? Because half of their audience realizes this is all shilling and becomes progressive politically, and the other half requires more radical right-wing talking points, okay? So one half, oh, Andrew Tate is a fucking idiot because now I am dating a woman and turns out she's actually a human being. And the other half is like, I want a Zeke Heil and actually tattoo a swastika on the top of my forehead. And Andrew Tate is too brown for my taste. Yes, so it is inevitable for them to destroy their own platforms under the weight of their own success. Funnily enough, yes.
It took girlfriends, wives, and teachers to reverse or counter the effect these guys had on their boyfriends, their husbands, or boys in general was and still is insane. Huge kudos to them. These women were and still are the first victims of the manosphere. So yeah, there was consensus that these guys weren't ideal, but there was also a lot of panic that all men would turn into full-on misogynists. In response to that, the media tried to find and present alternative role models to young men, healthy masculinity models. One of them was Justin Baldoni, and we all know how this ended. Other so-called healthy masculinity role models were people like Timothée Chalamet or Harry Styles. For a while, they were heralded as examples to follow. Articles and books were written on how hegemonic masculinity, which basically means the type of masculinity that dominates culturally, might be evolving towards a softer, more feminine form. To be fully honest, the
Holy Mother of God, like funneling it in both directions is both simplistic and, in my opinion, borderline reactionary. You're ascribing particular aesthetic categories as positive or negative directions. I'm not saying that she is doing it. Like that analysis from 4 years ago is insane to me. It is like saying soft boys better than the hard boys or hard boys better than soft boys is two sides of the same coin. You are treating complex human beings that out of which none fall into either of those categories but exist in a beautiful limbo of personal style, expression, and way of life, that you are, by categorizing them, you treat them like, I don't know, fucking video game characters on a creation screen. You are not a serious adult. You need to touch more grass, interact with more people. This is not normal behavior. You're weird.
Those discussions around Timothée Chalamet or Harry Styles as masculine role models started before the manosphere became a big deal. As the manosphere grew,
I am a soft boy, but I am always hard. I like you, Bob. You're a funny man.
And the crisis of masculinity became a bigger topic. Hopes that a soft, feminine masculinity would take over started to dwindle. No, the solution to the so-called crisis of masculinity wasn't going to be Harry Styles or Timothée Chalamet. These guys were quite popular among women, but clearly men didn't really care about them. In fact, the rise of the manosphere showed that the patriarchal type of masculinity was still very relevant, very popular among young men, therefore contradicting the media's hopes for a softer, more feminine model. As you can see here, there's often a gap between what cultural magazines and articles say and the reality of what men actually.
Fitting in particular masculine categories by men is usually done for other men, not necessarily for women. The behavior patterns and even aesthetic styles that most men take upon themselves when they are alone with a woman, their partner or not, usually are heavily different than that of them in front of their friends, male friends in particular. I don't know. Take phone of your boyfriend. Compare chat that he has with you versus group chat with boys. It will be very different. You will be scared. You should actually not do that. You should never do that. It is two different planets. Trust me, my friend. It is two different planets.
Aspire to be.
You are when you are dating a man, you are not dating one person. You are dating two, okay? You are dating the boy for the boys, and you are dating the boy for the girls. What I'm trying to introduce as a concept to all of my friends, and sometimes to you, chat, is that one should not differentiate the two, because you would be surprised. Just now I'm talking about straight relationships or whatever. You will be surprised just how much your girl can be one of the boys. And vice versa. Girls, you will be surprised how much your boyfriend can really be a girlfriend. It is very possible, and it is very healthy. But we don't do it because, again, we stigmatize the other as something inherently, radically different to ourselves. Like they are different species. Motherfucker, they just, have tits and you do not. It is not alien from planet Mars. Just fucking talk to your partner like human being. It is fucking easy. Low-key, with the girl I'm talking to, I kind of joke and talk in kind of a similar way I do with my friends. That is very good. Then they truly know who you are. And when somebody loves you for 100% you, that is very happy life then. You fucking love every single moment. What is point of getting a partner that doesn't actually know who you are and is in love with a fake version of you? Where the fuck is the happiness in that? What, you gotta be actor every day of your fucking life? Are you sick in the fucking head?
Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, hamburger, hamburger. Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger. Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac. Whopper, 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 Whopper. Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. Big Mac, Whopper.
Thank you very much, a king called Prince. That is insanely, insanely kind of you. What was I saying? Yes. Plot twist, if you actually treat your partner fully like yourself and do not create different categories of yourself, like you're some fucking bipolar motherfucker out here, you will, not bipolar, multiple personality disorder motherfucker out here, okay? And she ends up liking you, or he ends up liking you, right? They will... you will create a much higher chance for a very happy life, because you will be with someone who truly knows you and truly chooses to be with you the way you are. The alternative is idiotic. It is not only immoral. It is not only like ideologically stupid. It is just 100% a surefire way to fuck up your happiness throughout life, because you will have to do what? Act as another human being that you are not, as another type of person that you are not, whenever you are with your loved ones. Because your loved ones will want you for the fake persona you've developed, not for your actual self. Partnerships, relationships are the most subjective fucking thing on planet Earth. They are the definition of something that should never, in which rejection should never be taken personally. Because the core goal of a relationship is to find two compatible people that lift each other up. If you're not compatible and the relationship cannot work, that is not a bad thing. You having figured that out on time before having spent so many years with that person, that is a brilliant, very, very good thing. It is a very good thing. Breakups, when they need to happen, are fucking amazing. Okay? Because what's the alternative? A life of fucking suffering where you have to pretend you're something you're not? Fuck that shit, blood. You live once, man.
Is more common, but generally speaking, the idea of what a respectable
Seriously though, there is a different facade for every different relationship, right? A different role for when you interact with your friend or your dad or your boss or your brother or a stranger. People are fluid, and I don't think that it's an act. I think it's organic. It is 100% organic, my friend. But you're confusing you being a normal, healthy friend, a normal, healthy person that, of course, readjusts slightly based on who you're interacting with. Of course, you're not going to talk to the bank teller one way and your mother the same way, and then some guy that just cursed you out the other way. That is readjusting to the particular situation you're at. But actively doing it and readjusting yourself to the voiced preferences of a person that you would want to romantically pursue is very different. Your romantic partner is supposed to be the person, very often the only person with whom you will never have to play that game. Okay? So it is organic for us to be fluid. But if there's one person in your life that you shouldn't have to be fluid for, it is your partner. That is a true enlightened relationship, a true click, because it is click between not only your fucking PP or JJ, it is a click of souls.
men should be has definitely shifted. You can look at ads to kind of figure that out. Compare ads from the 1960s.
Breakups are so good. You are so right. In fact, I will go break up with my girlfriend. Urban, I will throw this cup through the window and it will hit you wherever the fuck you are, my friend. Jesus Christ.
1990s and now.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement again.
I kind of miss dating a Marxist terrorist. What? It was so much baggage from the bombings and stuff. But she wanted a housewife. That's not me. Makes everyone else seems kind of boring. Polaris, I swear to God, you have the craziest fucking life out of everyone in chat. This is not the first time that Polaris has dropped something as I don't know, let's call it wild as this. Fucking Polaris. Never change, Polaris. We all love you.
Has definitely shifted. You can look at ads to kind of figure that out. Compare ads from the 1960s, the 1990s, and now.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
In today's ads, men can be found doing the laundry, they let their wives drive the car, they cook, they fight against toxic masculinity. The respectable man today is a feminist, broadly speaking, and he gets socially rewarded for this. So being a male feminist is cool now. There's an incentive to go in that direction. This is good in a way because...
What in the mother of the West? Yo, non-Westerners in chat. Non-Western dudes in chat. Imagine telling your people you don't know in non-Western world that you are feminist. Dude, I think people would literally just immediately punch me in the head and call me gay. Like... It might be cool in West. I know that she's probably talking about her mostly Western audience. No. The rest of us are very behind on this topic, my friend. Very.
It encourages men, fathers, husbands.
Like me saying I'm feminist, I have to follow it with like a 5-minute explanation of it. Iraqi Marxist, yeah, no way I'm going to do that here. Absolutely, man.
Boyfriends to become
10 seconds before strap-on jokes begin, you know?
better people. But we know that when something becomes trendy or socially rewarded, that's when performativity creeps in.
Which is pretty crazy, for example, in my part of the world, because this is the place that unironically lifted up women to relative equality to men, both in the household and at work, before almost any other place on planet Earth. And for us to have been so dragged out of such societal progress into barbaric sexism is always very disappointing and sad. But the leftovers of true power and a lot of our women and mothers that educate their daughters as well is still very, very evident. So while they might not necessarily call themselves feminist because of the reactionary stigma that has been passed down upon us by the reactionary governments that came in the many years that followed. That does not mean that they do not, in practice and in praxis, still behave as feminists, which at the end of the day is not what matters most. Terminology is here to motivate us to behave in certain ways. If we apply terminology to ourselves and yet do not behave in those particular ways, then the terminology is mute. And if somebody is behaving in that particular way but is not applying that term to themselves, then, it's respectfully whatever, unless they are somebody who does education or academic work or agitation and so on. Then they should know what terminology means and what the fuck they're talking about.
Many people want to be perceived as cool without having to put the work in it, so they perform what they're not. This also applies to guys who don't necessarily want to be cool, but do want to get that female attention for whatever they want to do with it. If women want soft boy feminists, the Timothée Chalamet type, then men are going to deliver. My female friends on dating apps all report seeing guys using prompts, pictures, or tastes that signal male feminists. And I'm not saying that every man displaying those traits is performing, but the skepticism is valid. It's pretty much the same thing as seeing a text with a lot of M dashes. It could be authentic, or it could be ChatGPT. Dating apps obviously don't help with this at all. They let users portray themselves in whatever way they want, and over time this marketplace logic of tick the boxes, spot the red flags, are encouraging the formation of stereotypes, caricatures. High-skilled performative male feminists tick all the boxes before you can notice the red flags. Capitalism does not breed innovation, and dating apps...
This is something that I always wondered, because honestly, like I am, I wake up, this is me, I do shit. Help me, especially younger people in chat. Help Unc out, okay? Are there like motherfuckers that like actually like wake up one morning and they're like, I want to be this guy. Like, for example, I want to be this guy. Or any other category. And then they're like, this is my category, now I will be it. What I'm trying to say is like, does one become, I don't know, I'll use the most inoffensive subculture on planet Earth, goths, right? Does one become goth because that's just what they're like? Or does one become goth because they want to be perceived to be goth and then they just copy paste that shit and then they LARP it? Or is it a bit of both? Some motherfuckers LARP subcultures, other motherfuckers are just organically a part of the subculture. No, it's the girls that want guys to be like that, right? Yes, I'm a performative male because gender is a performance. That was beautiful, actually. Can't help, I'm too autistic. I don't get it either. I think now it's like meta-ironic thing online. I'm not only talking about performative males, I'm talking about all other categories. And now a bunch of chatters getting horny for goths. I swear, Matt, I swear. Goth, usually both. A bit of both. You grow up with it. It's a mix, but all fucking horny motherfuckers. People become goth because they listen to dark wave and post-punk. I hate that Angela Davis and Bell Hooks are going to be discarded because of this bullshit. Social media incentivizes selecting a marketing niche. Okay, so there are people that like actively choose a niche that they think is deep, but is usually just what you beautifully put as a marketing niche, and other people like organically fall into it, right? Into subcultures. I guessed as much. I just think that it's either a sign of incredible insecurity, like you're still looking for yourself, you're experimenting and so on. And insecurity is not always a bad thing. Like you can be young and insecure and who you want to be, and then experimenting a lot, sometimes in a cringe way, and then eventually finding yourself. But keyword there is eventually finding yourself in all of these subcultures and so on. Because if you're just jumping from one to another in order to upkeep some form of relevancy and some idea that you are special because you are different, it makes you the least different motherfucker on planet Earth. Probably OGs here in chat have noticed that I am a big hater of tryhards. Okay, tryhards make my skin crawl. Trying hard to be cool is the least fucking cool thing you can do. Gender is a performance. The life is a stage. So if life hands you lemons, squeeze them to make the room smell good. Haha, beautifully put, my friend. Motherfuckers always peacocked. It's just a different type of performance. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just trying to find a spot in between, whether it's like whether you're treating yourself as a corporate brand or if you organically fall into your branding. But then again, you're a victim of your environment. So what can we really define as organic self-branding, right? It's an interesting conversation. That's why it's Theory Monday. And I remind Westerners to fucking pay their tax, okay? And support these types of conversations. Let us be independent, not choose to go to Los Angeles and become fucking actors and then not want to talk about Palestine by paying your fucking 20 gift sub tax, you Western motherfuckers. And if you're sitting there laughing at them because you're non-Western, you also got to pay tax. 5 gift subs, okay? Jesus. What is happening to society?
Take all the
ain't nobody paying their taxes except Australians.
boxes before you can notice the red flags. Capitalism does not breed innovation, and dating apps are no exception to this. Over time, profiles become increasingly stereotypical to the point where they auto-mimify. You must have seen the...
That is a funny joke that the Georgian communist friends of mine, Georgian communist, was like, dudes in bar will call you performative white knighter when you say that you are a communist, up until you're stomping on their fucking head outside because they told you that you are anti-communist. Not very performative. I don't think women like violence very much. Do not do violence. It is bad and it is against TOS.
Videos of the performative male feminist contests in Seattle and other cities. The typical performer has a tote bag, bell hooks or Joan Didion in one hand, a little notebook in the other. It's a whole aesthetic. I guess at this point, the performative male feminist has been properly called out. No one is taking them seriously anymore. Everyone has been warned. But yeah, this is not too surprising. The male feminist was mostly an aesthetic popularized by culture magazines. It had no depth, no real feminism, just vibes. But for a while, it fulfilled culture.
Yeah, just vibes. It's the difference between owning a book and knowing a book. Sure, you can show everyone you have the book, but if you haven't read and understood the book, it's just a prop in the play of your life. That read like very academic and beautiful, but then it's just a prop in the play of your life. Jesus, got me fucking wet down there, Barry. God damn it! That is a man who reads his motherfucking books. A person.
There's need for an alternative masculine role model post-Me Too and in response to the manosphere. Now, since the US elections and the Democrats lost, more and more people are saying that the left needs its own Joe Rogan.
All right, we're rolling.
So a progressive masculine role model, a progressive mind.
Okay, I'll do it, whatever.
In a MAGA body, so to speak. Who's that person they're referring to? Well,
this analysis is low-key like fucking stupid. We need not by Alice, but that like we need a Joe Rogan. And when they explain what we mean by a Joe Rogan, we just mean like, ooh, a dumb big man who say things very loud, and white men will also listen to her. Okay, like white man listen to fucking Asmongold as well. It's this hyperfixation and lack of understanding of how digital content works fucking breaks my brain. People listen to Joe Rogan because of the fucking very specific way he runs his goddamn show. The type of guests he brings on and the type of host that he is. And also a lot of luck because he started out really early, back when podcasts were not really a thing, and he became as big as he is. A lot of podcasts that are being started right now, that have been started back then, if they started right now, would just be lost in a sea of repetitiveness, okay? But a lot of stupid analysts like misconstrue this as like, oh, we just need a big white guy. He lives, it doesn't matter if you have someone with a similar aesthetic to a conservative delivering your message when you have no message. Absolutely. Actually, not really, since he's not that big in reality. He has more bots than real people watching him. Oh yeah, that's a whole different conversation, Brachus Rex. I agree. Probably there's going to be some crazy reveals in the future about how realistically huge he is in the first place. I have this is the subjectivity of not living in the West. I do not know a single person. I have never met a single person from my part of the world that watches Joe Rogan. So is this indirect proof that he is not that popular except in a very, very niche American type of audience? Or does nobody actually want to admit that they watch Joe Rogan because they know that deep down inside that it's fucking cringe? That is the big question. That is the big question. Which it is out of two, you not know now. Only truck drivers and delivery guys listen to Joe Rogan, yes. And guys that watch like AI remakes of Joe Rogan, those are my favorites. My sister loves Joe Rogan and then I don't know how to convince her how dumb she is. Holy fucking shit. A woman that listens to Joe Rogan, she married, right? She is married. She must be. Don't tell me she is 8 now. She is married or she is 8? Yes? Your country has history and figures that they can look to. America doesn't, so every generation has to create them. That's a pretty funny and decent analysis. She's an engineer. She's engaged at 23. Crazy that she's an engineer listening to Joe Rogan, but engaged in 23. Is she gonna make him? Is he gonna make her be stay-at-home woman and not work in her thing? Not work in her field. Or maybe does she herself want that? I'm not passing judgment. I'm just creating character. No, she makes more than he does. So she supports, so maybe she subscribes to the alpha. Alpha of room. She is alpha of room. She make money and she take care of husband. Husband, nice, good bitch at home. Very good. And she watches Joe Rogan. She's a tough motherfucker. Okay, she's a tough motherfucker. I don't know. Now I'm just imagining her 6'4", fucking as wide as door. As a token cis white guy, I do not watch Joe Rogan. There you go, brother. There you go. We have one person that somebody knows that watches Joe Rogan, and it is woman. Do we have more people that know anybody who actually actively watches Joe Rogan? For now, our sample size is 1, and the sample size says that women, highly educated, financially stable women, watch Joe Rogan. It is not the plot twist I was expecting. She lives with his giant Italian-Irish conservative family on their farm. So there are a bunch of failed sons on a farm that brought over a successful rich engineer lady to feed them. Holy shit. I had this Indian MAGA guy at work who watched Joe Rogan and was an Elon stan. Got laid off, so I don't know what he's doing now. That is fucking funny, Markin. That is fucking funny. I have a circle of friends who have watched clips to discuss how crazy he sounded. There you go, ironic watchers. Okay, Sandrio knows a guy that does. Okay, so they exist. My best friend watches Rogan. That you guys don't count, you're old. It is okay. I know a man, he is apolitical and he is trying to make pop music. I swear sometimes music is a very reactionary industry. Nah, my friend, just your friend is little cringe. Little big cringe.
He's Twitch streamer Hassan Piker, better known online as Hassan Abi. Piker is a political commentator and Twitch streamer. He first made a name for himself at the Young Turks, and today he's one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, mixing leftist political commentary with gaming, news reaction.
Oh, I hit him up, by the way, about China. He responded, he said, fuck yes. So if we are in China at the same time, I'll see Hassan. Let's hope it's at the same time. I don't know. Probably not. Chances are low. But turns out I'm going after the 15th. Because I intentionally when she gave gifts, she intentionally wanted us to miss like the military parade and like the flower festival because there's far too many people then. But he might actually go during that period. But it is what it is.
And chatting with his community. Lately, Piker has been on
It
a
will be very cool.
lot of magazine
And if we hit September subscription goal, I will buy live streaming kit and try to live stream from China itself. Show you some cool shit over there. As well on my own.
covers and interviewed by mainstream
What if you two kissed on Tiananmen Square? A girlfriend would be jealous.
liberal media. Discussions about masculinity and the manosphere often come up in these features. He's positioned as a potential
She
solution
was literally jealous for a second, though, and you're welcome to say this to chat, because I was like, I texted Hassan, and I was like, if you're there, it would be very cool to hang out, and Hassan replied, absolutely, just waiting to hear on the dates. And she was immediately like, so what? You're going to dump me for Hassan while you're there? I'm like, what the fuck? No, of course not. Jesus, you bought this to me. It's very romantic. I'm not going to dump you for Hassan. I'm going to dump you for chat while we do live streams, of course. Get back into the fucking hotel room. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus Christ, fucking crazy questions.
to the so-called crisis of masculinity.
Greatest rule of thumb, of course, is that if you have to call yourself masculine or alpha, then you probably do not exhibit those qualities.
As a progressive guy who supports women's rights but also appeals to men. Now that's the big shift here, the big cultural shift. Between the Harry Styles, Timothée Chalamet time to now, the media has fully embraced the crisis of masculinity discourse. There's a very obvious way of doing this. Some articles are very obviously about this. There's also a more subtle way of doing this. What you can do to spot it is every time you see an article that is using sort of men versus women or using a gendered lens, basically, you can ask yourself, is that gendered lens necessary to talk
Very good point, блядь.
about that societal issue, or is it a choice that the journalist is making to, take part in this very clickbaity crisis of masculinity discourse? I've talked a lot about this person called Richard Reeves, who's a liberal researcher. He's doing that a lot. He's taking a lot of societal issues that can be analyzed separately or have various causes, but he groups them all under
Thank you, Hang Gamer, for 10 gift subs, my friend.
this idea that men are struggling, men are in crisis. So that's an example of it. Now, I'm not saying that the issues that those journalists, researchers are talking about aren't real, but the whole crisis of masculinity discourse reinforces the idea that there's something wrong with them and that it's tied to their masculinity. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. For me, this is all nonsense, BS, unnecessary. The idea that men have had to completely change their approach of how to be men, especially post-Me Too, because that's kind of how it's framed, doesn't make any sense. It's weird. We've known for a very long time that SV is bad and that you should not do it. Me Too did not break the news. And also this idea that the reason why men are suffering, that they are lonely, depressed and stuff like that is because of their masculinity and their struggle to embrace or define who they want. Men completely neglects the fact that there are so many things in society at the moment, so many social, economic factors that is making the lives of people, regardless of their gender, pretty bad, pretty shitty. All those problems I've mentioned can be reconnected to capitalism, our economic system. Yet mainstream media and those liberal researchers prefer a gendered lens, so an identity-based lens, because focusing on identity means that we don't have to care about the bigger stuff. We don't have to talk about our whole economic system. We can just fix individuals here and there, fix their masculinity problems. It's for the exact same reason that mainstream media has recently turned to
Jesus, wait, this is gonna be going on for a second now.
and Piker in search of that, leftist Joe Rogan, of that progressive mind in the MAGA body. But as someone who's been keeping an eye on and Piker has been doing for years now, I've seen him getting more
Thank you, Maple. I said...
popularity, and
Everybody please follow Maple Takes.
for me that's not necessarily due to the fact that he's a leftist gym bro. It has a lot to do with the message. Most young people in the US resonate with socialism and oppose the genocide in Palestine. Hassan Piker is one of the few people with a platform to actually speak about those things. People are looking for individuals and platforms that will welcome their
No, like if you call yourself a left-wing agitator and you don't speak about these things, you're not a left-wing agitator.
Their frustrations, validate them, politicize them. It's important that the left has big media figures speaking about Palestine, because a lot of people are seeking a rebranding through Palestine advocacy. They want to be recipients of those frustrations too. So it's not
Level 18 was the most.
just about the way the person looks. The values and convictions are key. Another example of this exists. Take Mehdi Hassan, for example. He's become so popular lately, and he's not a gym bro either. Or maybe he is.
Dude, what's the Hassan lobby out there? Like all the high-end political commentators, like a libbed up one, like Mehdi, that I still respect, but lived up as fuck, or Hassan, who's based, also a Hassan, and then even the cringe popular talking head, the third Hassan that I don't really bother with, motherfucker, cringe as shit. All Hassans, like the Hassan lobby is insane, dude. Was it the Arabs all along, even though Hassan is not Arab?
I don't know. His fast-growing platform reflects frustrations with media bias on Palestine and broader vibes politics. Zoran Mondani is yet another example. I mean, if you look at his profile, he's not really a Joe Rogan, but he's on track to become New York's next mayor in November. The main reason...
Zoran is Yugoslav supremacy. As you all know, we do not say Zohran, we say Zoran, because it is... a proud Yugoslav name. Wonderful. He just had ample plastic surgery and he moved to New York. And now he's taking revenge for the destruction of Yugoslavia by turning New York into a communist, jihadi emirate.
Why he's so popular is because he's openly socialist. He has shown solidarity with Palestine. Because of that, he managed to mobilize 50,000 volunteers to knock on over 1 million doors. That's ultimately what people want across the gender spectrum. They want to look up to people who act, who have values and convictions. Now, Hassan Biker is definitely not the only person being portrayed as a progressive alternative to the manosphere role models. In a different register, sports stars are getting similar treatment. A day before Hassan Biker's latest Thirst Trap interview, Travis Kelce appeared in a similar half-real, half-ironic shirt. He's also developed a strong presence online.
This is like crazy disrespectful to Hassan. Like this random sports ball guy that is dating famous white lady, to put him kind of on the same place as somebody who's dedicated their life and time to introducing people to class-conscious thought in his own way, like him or not. I have great respect for it. And then sports ball man that marries Taylor Swift. Like what? The fuck? Also like Zohran. So we had Zohran, Hassan, both like mainstream, huge leftist figures, and sports ball man. Thank you for the level 17 chat. Thank you. You want to hear how good you did? 282 sub gifts and 100 bits. Thank you for the bits. The 282 sub gifts, fuck you. 100 bits, now that's a fucking edgelord right there.
With his podcast New Heights, and let's be honest, he's mostly known because he's the boyfriend of pop megastar Taylor Swift. The media loves him because he offers something less ideological than Hassan Biker, who appears a bit more edgy. Travis Kelce is more mainstream, but still packaged as the perfect balance of strength and softness. I read this article on the evolution of Travis
I hate this.
Kelce style, and I thought it was quite interesting. It's definitely giving mainstream but fashion-conscious normie energy, and you can definitely see the influence of softer...
Yeah, but you're arguing that being a normie is G. Being a normie is not G, bro.
masculinity.
Being a normie fucking sucks, dude. I don't
trend.
Fucking normies.
One of those features being the mustache. Actually, what do you think about the mustache? Because for me, it's a very hipster thing, so I would say progressive, but in France at least, more and more
What the fuck?
far-right guys, young far-right guys are wearing the mustache. So yeah, what's your opinion on this? So this is the background, but when you look at his latest photo shoot, there is a noticeable shift. You get the thirst trap elements, that's
all you need to know about Travis Kelce. How do you pronounce this motherfucker's name? I just gave a squirrel a piece of bread and it straight smashed all of it. I had no idea they ate bread like that. Haha, hashtag crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is very funny. I love 2011. Better times, easier times.
for sure. You have poses that aren't typical of men.
Is this male version of what, like, give me example, Us boys, when there is conventionally defined very hot woman that is like into games and like likes to hang out with bros and drink beer. Give me example of female version of this. Is this why they are drooling so hard? I mean, I respect it. Good looking man, drool very hard. But like, I think this is the female versions of that, right? Denims. But denims is a comrade, blah, blah, blah. Denims should be compared to Hassan, for example. I'm talking non-political, just hot lady that likes beer with bros and likes a video game, right? Valkyrie. Why are you talking about mythological creatures, my friend? Who is this man? I am so... oh no, I know, streamer lady. But again, streamer lady. More mainstream, more like model lady, you know? Like I want, yes, tomboy to an extent. I want Gigi Hadid, the tomboy version. Holy shit, us men do not have this. Women have this guy, like a normie that is like a girl's boy, that is very like stereotypically good looking. But we do not have this. And they say the world revolves around men. Ha! Ha! What a joke. What a joke. Billie Eilish. Da, блядь. Very good, actually. Very good. Yeah. That is very... Absolutely. Absolutely. I just don't know if we... Like, this gentleman is being sexualized, which God bless. But do we really sexualize Billie Eilish? I don't know. I always felt like I'm listening to my daughter. You know? I don't think we... At least I don't. I don't know. Fucking little strange. But whatever. Maybe this girl. Who this girl? Jebem ti mater, prestani da se krećeš, bre. Who is this? Urban, I will literally fucking bat. Like, I've really been enjoying you, but you son of a bitch. Because you did it earlier, and I was like, there's no way this cunt is going to do it twice. Actually, bad person, man. Billie Eilish doesn't seem butch. My friend, we are not looking for butch. We are looking at a feminine-looking girl that boys like. So a little bit different than tomboy, I guess, by definitions. That likes beer with friends and likes video game and can, you know, be... without being like... without being a quote-unquote pick-me. So like actually legit like one of the boys, but also conventionally attractive. Because this is what that is for women, this gentleman. That is what he is, okay? Not a girl, but this song is kind of fire. Now I cannot click links. I'm terrified. Gucci poop sock. Yes, fucking hilarious, man. That one girl from Fast and Furious. That one girl from Fast and Furious. Absolutely. Who the fuck is... I don't know this. Fast and Furious. And now somebody's going to tell me this lady is gay. Absolutely. Michelle Rodriguez. Though not the most like greatest normal definition of, it's not like... She is not the female version of this, right? The female version of this is fucking Gigi Hadid or whatever. Like very, 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 very standard, norm of beauty, which is always subjective, everything that I'm going to say, right? But yes, she kind of plays that role. Like very good looking woman that is a normie, that is one of boys. Yes. So not a bad catch. Not a bad catch. She's gay. No way. She is a lesbian. Fucking fuck me. There you go, dude. There is no... We cannot find a woman version of this. She is gay. Oh, son of a bitch. There you go. We cannot find a woman version. She needs to be straight. Like this man is straight. This is crazy. And they say the world revolves around fucking straight dudes. My ass. We don't have this. We don't have this. No gaydar. Would it have been more okay for me to like call somebody gay without knowing they are? Maybe because, but again, this is a content creator, my friend. We are looking mainstream celebrity. Problem that is you're too offline to know the ladies this applies to. No, we're looking for mainstream celebrity. Billie Eilish worked to an extent. Billie Eilish as an example worked. We are not looking for content creators. Mila Kunis. Who was Mila Kunis? There you go, блядь. Da. Okay, exactly. This is Mila Kunis. This is Mila Kunis. I don't know. Maybe Mila Kunis is different, but Mila Kunis 100% gives that vibe. Mila Kunis, okay. So to the dudes watching this. So when women look at this, they see Mila Kunis, their version of Mila Kunis, okay. When straight ladies look at this, they see their version of Mila Kunis. So do you understand now why they are so passionate about talking about this? The same way you're passionate about talking about Mila Kunis. Very good. Isn't Mila Kunis Slavic as well? Yeah, Ukrainian. There you go. Fucking keep winning. Slavs keep winning.
Male photo shoots, but there's also some strong traditional masculinity signifiers. The army colors, the rugged man in the wild vibes, a hairy muscular chest, a cowboy hat, and that iconic yellow vest. Not me pretending it's pure coincidence that there's a yellow vest in the background. I wish my French yellow vest protesters looked like that. Even the location.
Well, this guy doesn't stand for anything, though. I agree, but that's the point. We're looking for normie. And to an extent, our dear friend, what's her name? Mila Kunis. What was it? Yes. She also, mainstream lady.
Matters here. Florida, known for being a conservative state. All these elements, the ruggedness, the traditional masculinity codes, reflect the media's search for a model of masculinity that appeals to the guys who listen to Joe Rogan, the real men they've supposedly lost to the right or the far right. Travis Kelce is special in that sense, because he's also the beloved boyfriend of pop feminism icon Taylor Swift.
I think this plays too much into the trope that all men are fatherless losers that are looking for like a celebrity figure or political figure or media personality that happens to be male and masculine that is going to replace said father figure role. It's not that direct. I mean, Joe Rogan is popular because like everybody can watch that fucking show, and because he started it before anybody else did. It's not that much about big muscle and bald head. Like it is, that plays a factor, but we are not literal fucking Neanderthals. We're not like, oh, big muscle, bald head, I will listen to his opinion now. It is not that simple.
The perfect blend of tough and sweet that draws in female.
But yes, good quote-unquote role models are important, I guess, whatever. But this is like a very bottom-tier conversation. It is not very interesting or intellectually stimulating. Speaking of Kelce, you're missing out on this rot. Jesus, you're very informed on this man. Travis Kelce, catching Kelce promo. What the fuck? Is he Romanian? That sounds like a Romanian last name.
My name is Travis Kelce.
I'm a professional football player for the Kansas City Chiefs.
And I'm looking for love.
I'm getting the opportunity to date 50 beautiful women from this God-loving country.
Hey there, lonely girl. Lonely girl. Don't you know this?
I am not American enough for this.
Male audience too. Now that reminds me of some research I was doing for a video on audio erotica that is going to be available on Patreon.
He's fucking bisexual? Oh, Jesus, he's bisexual? There you go. Women be like, here is great example of normie man.
In that video,
where what we think, straight dudes should be like. Turns out, not straight guy. How does that compare to Hassan? I said it's borderline offensive that the comparison was there, but she was like, okay, this is a political figure that is like this. Now I will show you a media figure that is like this. So like Zohran, Hassan, and now I will show you a normie that can be good role model for the evil man. I'm kidding. That is not what she said. I am just mansplaining. to lady in computer. guys, what is a Twitch stream? It is a masked man mansplaining to lady that cannot reply inside of computer.
Here I found that on a lot of those audio erotica platforms, the themes of rural men, sportsmen, the Irish bar owner type of thing were very, very popular. In those stories, the female character was often a young, educated woman who was looking for an escape outside busy life in big city centers. Travis Kelce embodies that fantasy in some ways, and he's very aware of this. Back in 2016, Kelce even had a reality TV show where 50 women competed for his love.
Okay, the world revolves around us, chat. Somebody sent me this link, and now this is shown. Tell me that we are not main playable character, and I will say you're stupid.
At the time, he wanted a woman to, quote, fit into all aspects of his life. Now he's joking about flipping the script and being Taylor Swift's Pretty Man, bringing the reversal of the script of the movie Pretty Women with Julia Roberts. On the cover of GQ, he's definitely borrowing elements from...
But Jesus, but like actively wanting to be a particular category instead of organically falling into it is fucking strange, блядь.
The performative male feminist playbook, while still leaning into traditional masculinity, as we can see on this cover. People evolve,
Okay, she is doing criticism. Very good.
of course, but in big media, evolution tends to align with what is culturally relevant. So when we zoom out, what we see is kind of ironic. The manosphere with its toxic role models set off a panic about men, and the media rush to fill the gap with healthy masculinity alternatives. Gym bro leftists, soft boys, football boyfriends, whatever template could...
But this is like, okay, I need to comment on a very particular thing, because people, for some reason, take conversations about gender and they display them as they display them as an original and unrepeatable topic on which reactionary forces and progressive forces are eventually going to diverge. It is not. On the conversation of masculinity, you will have people utilizing that conversation in a progressive manner and in a reactionary manner. The same way you will have people talking about gender in general, trying to talk about it in a progressive manner and in a reactionary manner. You will have talking heads inside of every religious category, trying to pitch that particular religious ideology as a way to move in a progressive direction socially and economically, or to stifle and turn to reactionary sentiment, etc., etc. Topics of the economy, of abortion, of every single category always has diverging dialectical interpretations of that category. One reactionary and one based in, quote unquote, material analysis and actual science that backs it up, etc., etc. Gender is not original in this way. It has its very particular, intricate mechanisms that one needs to interact with, etc., etc. But it is simply just another territory on which ideologies battle it out. And this is how it's been forever, right? You can make something as simple. We use this example because it's a very easy example. Something that, for example, is not human. A vaccine. You have an epidemic and then you have a vaccine. Something that literally a piece of medicine. And we ideologize that. And you have talking heads from one side, talking heads from the other side, convincing the world that their ideology has it figured out better than the other one on the topic of whether you should take a vaccine or not. Same with gender, same with all other categories. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I feel like very often in the conversation of masculinity, of role models for men, blah blah blah, the conversation about gender is introduced as if we are only now talking about that. Like only now reactionaries figured out how to utilize reactionary ideas of masculinity as a ways to grow their movements. No, this is a topic as old as time. just like all the other topics that different ideological representatives are going to utilize for their own purpose. I hope you understand me.
The work, but the harder they try to package masculinity in a palatable, progressive way, the more absurd it becomes. It keeps feeding into the same
What's up, Horst? What's up, my friend? What's up, Horst? Nice to see you, Horst. Nice to see you, Horst.
crisis
20 months, brother.
of masculine narrative that was never really about masculinity to begin with. And the danger is that this framing is making more and more people tune out of feminism altogether, seeing it reduced to vibes, to aesthetics, to role model shopping, instead of what it really is, a political movement to transform the structures that create inequality in the first place. That's the shame of it, because feminism isn't about crafting the perfect man. It's about building a society where everyone can.
A fellow French philosopher defined masculinity in the best way for me. Masculinity here, he is talking about straight and cis people. Maybe not only cis people, but straight people, because it's very on the relation between male and woman. It is how a man relates to his relationship to women. That is your masculinity. What you need to do for women, how you need to present in front of women. Masculinity, ironically, completely revolves around the female gaze, right? And therefore it can be readjusted and can be used both by reactionary movements and by progressive movements, because it's very fluid, yes?
Live, work, and love free of
That's
the
why it is quote-unquote in traditional masculinity is in crisis right now, because for like 70, 80 years, especially in the Western world, to be masculine was to provide for your woman. But now two things have happened. In late-stage capitalism, ain't nobody got enough money to provide for a whole family, right? And number two, women can fucking work and provide for themselves now, so they're going to ask their partner to contribute in a different way, not only monetarily, which is breaking down what a lot of men have been taught by their fathers and sometimes even mothers, that they will find a partner if they are simply a provider, and that a bitch should shut the fuck up and go make you a fucking sandwich because you're the one paying the fucking rent. Right? So those are the two main reasons why quote-unquote masculinity is in crisis, because it is unironically in crisis. Its previous definition of what it was to be masculine, which is, to repeat, what did we say, chat? The previous definition of how men related to women is in question, and therefore that definition of masculinity is in question. Therefore, it is in crisis. Therefore, two groups, two ideological categories are going to rise up, and one is going to say that is good. We are not destroying masculinity. We are evolving it. Our relationship as straight dudes to women is going to change, and that is normal, and that is fine, and it has throughout history changed and adapted. Very nice, very good. But then you will have the reactionaries, which are like, nah, man, we got to put the bitches back in their fucking place. Bring back the nuclear family. Women be getting our jobs. That's why we don't make enough money. That's what allows them to be so, like, again, to use the word, bitchy about everything, etc., etc. Blah, 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 all the reactionary bullshit. Again, every single topic in life, every social issue, biological issue, everything is immediately ideologized for our species, because this is how we function. And masculinity is no excuse. And which particular philosopher I'm slow today. You watch my video, even though it's 18 plus, which is fucking insane. You got Nick. What was the video? Yeah, this. Why I made a video on like what all of these people are talking about fucking 2-3 years ago. Where was it? Oh, this is when I used the super schizo editor. It was so fucking good. This motherfucker.
Truth we cannot.
Lacan. There we go. There, I'll give you better definition because I butchered it.
Use what we think the feminine is a cure for the symptoms of a truth we cannot accept, that we, like everyone else, are lacking. Specifically, that our idea of masculinity is lacking. So what is it that changed so much that now, after...
And then you fill that lacking with the particular interpretation of your relation. I mean, the lacking is a more complex, let's call it philosophical category that would take me an hour to explain. But it is, to simplify, it's that. Our relation to the feminine is how we define our masculine, at least have up until this point.
Domination. If you like this video and the themes I cover on this channel, then I think I have a new series for you. It's called Amy's Dream.
Still a great time to be a dude, probably because so many are bags of crap. Women set the bar pretty low now. Women have always set the bar pretty low because we make the fucking bar low very often as dudes. I mean, no, it's there you go. I just did a liberalism. It's not like it's the bar for women is going to increase because as more and more independent women become, the more difficult it is going to be for a guy to simply get a girlfriend because he is doing better than her due to systemic due to systemic inequalities, right? The more access to the workforce and to capital and so on is relatively equalized inside of the market economy, the closer and closer they are going to come to some sort of meritocracy in one partner choosing the other. But then that is radically complicated by class society, which to an extent begins commodifying partners. Doesn't matter if it's boys, girls, or whatever you like. Which starts commodifying partners, and then we start going in the kind of post capitalist feminist era where you don't really give a flying fuck whether it's a dude or a girl, that you're supposed to be the provider or the non-provider, blah, blah, blah. Both start looking at financial capabilities of the other partner as the main driving force behind why they would date them or not. Basically, at one point, we will unironically just look at physical aesthetic and how much capital somebody has gained as the entirety of what we judge dateability upon. The full commodification of interpersonal relationships, which was one of the most beautiful revolts of the, for example, 20th century and late 19th century that we are now borderline abandoning. Because if you remember, it used to be, now I'm talking, for example, Europe, we were just sold by our parents as cattle to whatever fucking other family had as much money as our family did, or maybe had more money than what our family did, so that we can, so that the family can become wealthier by basically selling us off to the other one. And then we revolted against this, both ideologically and systemically, pretty much internationally everywhere. In some places to a greater and other places to a lesser extent. Around the world, we put love first, not material gain. And yet, we are going back to that OG problem that we thought we solved. We're like, nah, I'm good. Material gain it is. Is he a brokey or not? Type shit. But it's gonna come back. Like, that's why I find girls that are like girl bossing. He's a fucking brokey. Like, why the fuck would you date him? Like, that's so fucking cringe, right? Literally, like, self-indoctrinated ladies that think that, you know, fully snorting up 10 grams of capitalism makes them better women, right? It's gonna come back to bite them in the ass because you know why? Because their daughters, if they're straight, right? And when they're in the dating sphere, men are going to start saying, why the fuck would I date her? She's a fucking brokey. What I'm trying to say is, in a very funny way, the genders eventually ideologically will be neutralized in the dating market, in which men will unironically require of women the same amount of let's say, material and financial dominance that self-described girl bosses require of men now. It all will turn into a market. Yeah. So you know, girls that, in my opinion, are objectively cringe, that are always like, that fucking brokey, yeah. it's gonna be funny because in 20 years, like dudes will literally be sitting around drinking mimosas and being like, Jesus Christ, you gotta dump that Becky, bro. She fucking ain't making no fucking bank, bro. Jesus Christ, I can't believe you're dating a bank teller. Like, what the fuck, dude? Lesbian women can have kids too. No, of course. Hope you didn't misinterpret me. I was like, straight. I'm talking straight couples. With you beautiful fucking gay people, yes, you guys do your thing. Straight people are complicated enough for me already. So you guys, God bless. Educate me. Always educate me. But there you go. No, that would be an interesting question, though. That would be an interesting question. In lesbian couples, do lesbians say like, "Damn, she's a broke hoe," like, you know, like he's a brokey, but like do lesbian couples go like in that category, like, stop dating her because, like, I'm not gonna date you. You don't have your own apartment. Or is the women's union more progressive than that on average? Little lesbians think dating working class people is hot because leftism, but that might be the minority. Yeah, I don't know. Where is the lesbian hot sauce when we need her?
We will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know. Universal bereavement.